I spent about an hour this morning just staring at the spreadsheet for the Big 12 North.
Oh, I know that feels.
Just staring at it.
Yeah.
And I realized we are looking at something that it shouldn't exist. It kind of defies physics.
It's completely broken reality, hasn't it?
It has. We have the 1995 Nebraska Cornhuskers. I mean, maybe the greatest team ever assembled. The Tom Osborne machine.
A juggernaut.
Fighting for their lives against a Kansas State team from just 3 years later, 1998. And they're doing it in a simulation that tracks every single tackle, every wind gust, every penalty flag. It's the ultimate what-if machine.
And that's the beauty of the Simulation League. It totally removes the barstool debate aspect.
Right.
We aren't just guessing if Tim Tebow could score on the 61 Alabama defense. We don't have to shout over a plate of wings about it. We have the logs. We have the data.
We know.
We know exactly what happens when these eras collide.
And the logs from this week, from October 13th, they are bloody. I mean, we have a blue blood upset that completely flips the playoff picture on its head.
It's a huge one.
We have a running back performance that looks like a glitch in the code. I honestly thought it was a typo when I first saw it.
It wasn't a typo.
No.
But it was tragic. We'll definitely get to that.
But, we aren't just here to gawk at the box scores. Our job today is predictive. We really need to figure out who actually makes the top 24 playoff field.
Right.
Because looking at these standings, the math is getting brutal. There are teams with legendary rosters that are sitting on the edge of a cliff right now.
And that's the mission. We have to cut through all the noise. And to frame this for everyone listening, you have to understand the structure. In this league, there are only 3 doors into the playoffs. That's it.
3 doors. Okay, walk us through them.
All right. Door number 1, win your conference. It's simple.
Okay.
If you hold the trophy at the end, you are in. It doesn't matter if you have 2 losses or, even 3 losses in a weird year. If you win the league, you secure a spot.
So that's the automatic bid. The easiest path, in theory.
Exactly. Door number 2, stay undefeated.
The perfection path.
If you have a 0 in that loss column, you are safe. The committee isn't going to keep out a 12-0 team, even if their schedule was a little light. Survival is its own reward in this system.
And door number 3.
Yeah.
So this is the one that gives everyone anxiety. This is the panic room.
The top 24. The at-large bids. This is where the math gets cold.
So cold.
If you stumble, if you don't win your conference, you fall into a pool of, maybe 30 teams fighting for maybe 8 or 10 spots. You have to be ranked in the top 24 of the poll to make the cut. And as we saw with Oklahoma this week, that is a terrifying place to be.
Yeah, it is. It creates this incredible tension where a single interception in October, one tipped pass, can end your entire season in December.
Precisely. And today, we are going to look at how the tiebreaker math, especially in the Big 12 and the ACC, is currently deciding the fate of some very, very famous teams.
Well, speaking of fate, let's get into the chaos of this week. The narrative arc of October 13th.
Yep.
We have to start with the game that just shook the rankings to their core.
Yep.
The 2007 Missouri Tigers versus the 2000 Oklahoma Sooners.
A fascinating clash. I mean, a clash of eras even within the same conference. You have the dawn of the true spread offense with that Mizzou team against the, turn of the millennium dominance of Oklahoma.
And Missouri pulls it off. They take down the powerhouse Sooners 29-27.
A stunner.
Now, looking at the rankings coming into this, Oklahoma was sitting pretty, right? They're a blue blood. They won the title in real life in 2000. They have the pedigree.
Absolutely.
But they walk into Ford Field and they get stunned. What happened here? Was this just a fluke? A bad bounce?
No, it wasn't luck. If you really dig into the box score, it was a tactical failure by Oklahoma.
How so?
Well, look, Oklahoma actually moved the ball better. Josh Heupel threw for 257 yards. They had more total offense than Missouri did.
Okay, so they won the yardage battle but lost the game. What was the key?
The difference was decision-making under pressure. Plain and simple.
Heupel threw 2 interceptions.
And in a 2-point game, that is everything. That is the entire ballgame. Meanwhile, look at Chase Daniel for Missouri. He didn't have to be Superman. He wasn't lighting up the stat sheet.
No, 167 yards. It's not a huge number.
It's not. He was 24 of 37 for 167 yards. He managed the game. He took what the defense gave him, checkdowns, short slants, and he let his defense go make the plays on Heupel. He didn't try to be a hero, and that's why they won.
It feels like such a 2007 Missouri thing to do, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just creating chaos, winning games they're not supposed to.
He was their whole identity.
But here's where it gets really interesting for our deep dive. The impact of this one loss. Oklahoma drops to 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
In a normal season, 4-2 is fine. You're still having a good year. But in this simulation league where you have the 0-1 Hurricanes and the 61 Crimson Tide running around undefeated, 4-2 puts you on the edge of the abyss.
It really does. Look at the rankings. We've got the source material from College 71, the official poll.
Okay.
Oklahoma's sitting at number 23.
Number 23.
23. And remember what we said, the cutoff is 24. They are one rank away from the bubble bursting. One spot.
So Oklahoma, a team that many, myself included, would probably pick to win the whole thing, is one bad Saturday, one more upset, away from falling out of the playoff picture entirely.
That is the precarious position of a two-loss team in this system. It's a knife's edge.
That is terrifying. One slip-up, one tip pass, and the legend goes home.
Yeah.
Speaking of slipping, or maybe running through a brick wall is the better phrase, we have to talk about the University of Central Florida.
Oh, this game. This game was something else.
The final score was UCF loses to Liberty, 58-45. A defensive coordinator's nightmare.
I had to email the developers to check the Kevin Smith line. I did. I thought the CSV file was corrupted.
Because of the yardage.
341 yards on the ground.
341 yards in a single game.
For one player. Kevin Smith, the 07 UCF running back, 31 carries.
That's a workload.
341 yards, 3 touchdowns. He averaged 11 yards every single time he touched the ball.
So every time he touched it, it was a first down.
Basically, first down, touchdown.
And they lost. That is the tragedy of it. It's like a Greek tragedy in cleats. You run for a third of a kilometer and you still lose by 2 scores.
This is the styles make fights concept we talk about all the time, right?
Absolutely.
UCF was playing ground and pound. They were chewing up clock, marching down the field, doing everything right on offense. But Liberty, they were playing the 2020s air raid.
Yeah.
Their quarterback, a guy named Parson, threw 5 touchdowns.
So while Smith is grinding out these heroic 11-yard runs, Liberty is just throwing 60-yard bombs over his head.
Exactly. It's an efficiency math problem. UCF was efficient, but Liberty was explosive. It reminds me of those old NCAA video games where you just spam the 4 verticals play. At some point, you just can't defend it. Smith was absolutely heroic. It's one of the greatest individual performances in the history of the simulation, but his defense let him down completely.
It's such a harsh lesson.
Yeah.
You can have the MVP of the league in your backfield, but if you can't stop the pass, you're going home.
And that's what happened.
Let's pivot to a team that actually played some defense. A team that I think is flying under the radar, but maybe shouldn't be.
I think I know who you're talking about. NC State.
The 1973 NC State Wolfpack. They are currently 6-0. They just rolled into this week and absolutely crushed the 2006 Wake Forest team 48-0.
A shutout.
A shutout.
This is a team that fits that conference champion path perfectly. They are dominating the ACC. You look at the box score, and it's just total control. Dave Bucky, their quarterback, he barely had to throw. He was 12 for 12.
100% completion percentage.
He didn't miss a throw, but he didn't have to force anything because the running game Fritz had 2 touchdowns, was just gashing them, and the defense was suffocating.
And that's a 2016 they shut out. A modern team.
That's the key. In a league with all these modern offenses, like that 07 Missouri team or 01 Miami, having a defense that can post a shutout against a team from the 2000s, that is a massive, massive differentiator.
They are ranked number 9 in the top 40, and I think that's the definition of a quiet contender. They aren't getting the headlines like Miami or Nebraska, but they are just taking care of business week after week.
Methodically.
Speaking of taking care of business, let's check in on the Big Ten. Ohio State, the 2002 national champs. They played a really tough 2009 Iowa Hawkeyes team.
And this was a fascinating matchup of trestle ball versus, well, Ferenc ball.
A punt lover's dream.
You'd think so, but surprisingly, Ohio State put up some points. They won 31-13.
Okay.
But it was the way they won that was so telling. Craig Krenzel, he's not going to wow you with 300-yard games like the guys at Hawaii or BYU.
Nope.
But he threw 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He just managed the game perfectly.
The Krenzel factor. Just win, baby. That's all he did.
Exactly. And look at the other side. Ricky Stanzi for 09 Iowa. 19 of 40 passing.
Oof.
Less than 50% completion. The Ohio State defense, that 0-2 defense, just suffocated him. This was a statement game for Ohio State saying, we might be boring, we might not be flashy, but we are going to grind you into dust for 4 quarters.
I love it. Okay, now let's move to what I'm calling the survival games.
Okay.
The ones where the heavyweights looked a little wobbly, they got the win, but they had to sweat for it. And we have to start with the 2008 Florida Gators, against the 1964 Arkansas Razorbacks.
A huge clash of styles. This game was much closer than the experts predicted. You have one of the greatest spread offenses ever in that Florida team versus a team from the mid-60s.
And Florida just scrapes by 17-10.
By the skin of their teeth.
But the stat line for Tim Tebow.
Oh, pie.
We usually praise Tebow as the ultimate winner, the guy who just wills his team to victory. And he did win, but through 4 interceptions.
4 in one game. That is usually a death sentence, especially in this league.
I can just picture the Florida message boards melting down during this simulation. Bench Tebow, put in Cam Newton, but they won. How? How do you win when your Heisman quarterback gives the ball away 4 times?
Defense. And this is why the '08 Gators are a legitimate title contender.
Okay.
When your Heisman winner has the worst game of his life, can you still win? The Florida defense held Arkansas to just 10 points. They completely bailed Tebow out. Great teams find a way to win ugly. And in a tournament format like this, ugly wins count just as much as 40-point blowouts.
That's a great point. Survival is key. Now, contrast that with another SEC heavyweight, the 1961 Alabama Crimson Tide. They played a very, very talented 2007 LSU team.
A team that won a national title in reality. That '07 LSU is absolutely loaded with talent.
Right. Matt Flynn, Early Doucette, Brennan LaFell, Glenn Dorsey.
All NFL guys.
And Alabama just crushed them. 31-10. It wasn't even close.
This was a clinic in disciplined football. You look at Pat Trammell for Alabama. 178 yards passing. Not huge numbers,
Yep.
but efficient, no mistakes. And the defense. They shut down Matt Flynn completely. LSU has all these wide receivers who went on to play on Sundays. And 61 Alabama, playing with players from an era 40 years prior, just shut them down.
That is the magic of the simulation league right there. You assume the modern athletes will run circles around the guys from the 60s. You assume the speed difference is just too much.
That's the default assumption, yeah.
But coaching, discipline, fundamentals, tackling, those things travel through time.
They absolutely do. Alabama sits at 6-0, and they look like an absolute machine. They are ranked number 2 for a reason. They are the disciplined, structured foil to Miami's flash and speed.
Okay, so that's the chaos of this week. Now, I want to zoom out a little bit. We talked about the 3 paths to the playoffs. Let's look at path number 1, the undefeated, the 0-loss club.
The holy grail. If you stay undefeated, you control your own destiny. No questions asked.
And we have a clear hierarchy forming in the top 5. At number 1, no surprise, the 2001 Miami Hurricanes. They are 5-0. They have a ranking score of 1354.
They are the undisputed kings right now. It's not even a debate. They are scoring points in bunches, and their defense is filled with future NFL Hall of Famers. Ed Reed, Sean Taylor, Jonathan Vilma. They are the standard by which everyone else in this league is measured.
But right behind them, at number 2, is that 61 Alabama team we just mentioned. 6-0.
The defensive stalwart. And honestly, if we get a Miami versus Alabama championship game, it would be the ultimate immovable object versus unstoppable force.
Oh, absolutely. Speed versus structure.
It would be incredible.
Then at number 3, a bit of a West Coast surprise, the 2004 Cal Golden Bears. They're 6-0.
Don't sleep on Cal. We mentioned J.J. Arrington earlier. He is leading the league in scoring 14 touchdowns.
14.
They are putting up 1,268 ranking points. They aren't just winning, they are blowing teams out. Aaron Rodgers is under center for them, but Arrington is the engine of that offense. They are scoring at a pace that rivals Miami.
At number 4, the team we started with, 95 Nebraska. 6-0, the option juggernaut. They just keep winning. And at number 5, another old school squad, the 65 Michigan State Spartans at 5-0.
So you've got 5 teams, all perfect records. But the pressure is mounting every single week.
Who is most likely to slip? That's the big question.
Well, let's look deeper at the data, because I think there's a team lurking.
Yeah.
I want to highlight the 1976 Pittsburgh Panther.
Okay. Tony Dorsett's team.
Correct. They are ranked number 7 right now, but they are actually 7-0. They've played one more game than the teams ahead of them.
That's a huge advantage.
It is. And if you look at their strength of victory, their SOV, it sits at .436.
Which is pretty high.
It's very respectable. Compare that to 61 Alabama, for example. Pitt is beating quality teams. They are lurking in the weeds. Because they aren't in the top 5, people might overlook them, but being 7-0 is a massive advantage. If Miami or Alabama trips up, Pitt is right there to steal a top seed.
So staying undefeated is the golden ticket. But what if you don't? What if you take a loss? Then you have to look at path number 2, being a conference champion. And this is where the expert part of your title really needs to shine, because the tiebreakers in these documents are They're dense. They're legalistic.
They're complicated, but they are fair. Let's start with the ACC. It's probably the most straightforward.
We mentioned that 73 NC State team is dominating at 6-0.
Right. They are the clear leader. But the Chase Pack is interesting. You have the 99 Florida State Seminoles at 4-1.
A great team. Peter Warwick, Chris Weinke, a juggernaut in their own right.
A great team, but here is where the college72.pdf rules, the official rule book, comes into play. There is a log jam in the middle of the conference. You have 06 Wake Forest, 95 Virginia, and 60 Duke, all fighting for position.
Okay.
And the source material explicitly states Wake Forest over Virginia and Duke based on head-to-head.
So that head-to-head win we talked about earlier is absolutely huge. It's the tiebreaker.
Massive. It creates separation. Wake Forest might have a couple of losses, but because they beat the teams they are tied with, they stay alive in the pecking order. But for the playoff spot, it is NC State's to lose. Unless FSU runs the table and NC State completely collapses, the Wolfpack are punching that ticket.
Okay, so the ACC is NC State's for the taking. Let's move to the Big 12, because this is where my brain started to hurt.
Yep.
Let's look at the Big 12 North, because we have a situation here that is going to make some Kansas State fans very, very angry.
It is the cruelest tiebreaker in the entire rulebook.
You have 95 Nebraska. You have 98 Kansas State. Both are undefeated. Both are destroying people. But the simulation ranks Nebraska higher in the division standings. Why?
Okay, so it comes down to a very specific, kind of nerdy metric in the College 72 source document. It's called Combined Conference Rank.
Combined conference ranking.
Now, this isn't just points scored or points allowed. It's a composite metric. Think of it like European soccer goal differential, but on steroids.
Okay, break that down for us.
So the system ranks every team in the conference on offense based on points scored and on defense based on points conceded. It then adds those two rankings together. The lower the combined score, the better.
So if you have the #1 offense and the #1 defense, your score is 2.
Exactly. And 95 Nebraska is practically perfect in this regard. They are #1 in almost every statistical category in the conference. Kansas State is elite. Maybe they're #2 in offense, #3 in defense, but that tiny gap, that's the difference.
So the simulation doesn't just care that you beat Kansas, it cares that you beat them by 40 instead of 30.
Precisely. Nebraska isn't just winning, they are annihilating the statistical averages of the conference. They're breaking the curve.
So Nebraska is winning the division on style points.
They are winning on sheer brutal dominance.
Yeah.
The simulation rewards the team that doesn't just win, but suffocates the opponent and puts up video game numbers. It's incredibly unfair if you're K-State, because all you've done is win every game, but you're technically in second place because you aren't winning hard enough.
So while K-State is scraping by with grit, Nebraska is engaging in statistical bullying. That is brutal.
And it has huge playoff implications. And in the South Division, it's even tighter.
Right, because you have 0 Oklahoma, who we saw just lost. They are 4-2. Then you have 98 Texas A&M at 4-2. And 74 Baylor, also at 4-2.
A three-way tie for the division lead.
How does that even get sorted out?
Again, the rulebook is specific. The first tiebreaker is head-to-head, but they haven't all played each other, so it goes to the next one. Divisional record.
Oh, okay.
Oklahoma holds the edge over Texas A&M based on that divisional record. Oklahoma is 1-0 in the division, while A&M is 1-1.
So even though Oklahoma just lost a conference game to Mizzou, they are still technically leading the South because they won the right games inside their own division?
Correct. But they are hanging by a thread. One more divisional loss and they tumble out of first place.
Wow, the margins are just razor thin.
Yeah.
The SEC seems a bit more straightforward, but there's some delicious irony there.
There is. In the East Division, you have 80 Georgia at 5-1, and you have 08 Florida at 5-1.
Okay, 2 one-loss teams.
Right. Now, if you look at the top 40 rankings, the main poll, Florida is ranked number 10, Georgia is ranked number 11.
So Florida is the quote-unquote better team, according to the pollsters. They have the hype. They have Tebow.
Bandy Bud. Georgia beat Florida head-to-head earlier in the simulation. And the rulebook states, 80 Georgia holds the tiebreaker over Florida due to a 1-0 head-to-head record.
So Georgia leads the division.
Georgia leads the division. This is a classic case where the better-ranked team might not even make the conference title game because they lost the specific matchup that mattered most.
It's all about who you play and when you play them. And in the West, it's just 61 Alabama sitting on the throne.
Right. They are clear. No tiebreakers needed there. It's them and then everyone else.
Let's hit the Pac-10 quickly. This is another collision course.
Yeah.
We have 91 Washington at 5-0 versus 04 Cal at 6-0.
Two undefeated monsters. This is a battle of strength of victory. Washington has held a slight edge there, around .483 versus .433 in previous weights, so they've played a slightly tougher schedule.
Right.
But Cal is ranked higher in the current Week 7 poll. They're number 3 versus Washington at number 6. This is a collision course. These two teams will almost certainly decide the Pac-10 on the field. The math suggests Washington has played tougher games, but Cal is scoring more style points with the pollsters.
And we can't forget the independents and the so-called group of 5 teams.
Right. 88 Notre Dame is 6-0. They are effectively a conference champ equivalent. If they keep winning, they're a lock. And keep an eye on 10 TCU from Conference USA. They are 5-1, ranked number 20.
So they're in the top 24 right now.
They are. They're fighting for that path #3 spot, but if they win their conference, they make a very strong case.
Which brings us perfectly to path #3. The top 24, this is the bubble watch. This is where hearts are broken.
This is the cutoff line. If you aren't a conference champ, you absolutely must be inside this top 24 to make the playoffs. No exceptions.
Okay, I'm looking at the list here. Let's read the names of the teams living on the edge. Currently safe, but not comfortable.
Yeah.
At number 22, we have the 1960 Ole Miss Rebels at 4-1.
A very good team.
At number 23, the sliding, reeling Serial Door Zero Oklahoma Sooners at 4-2.
Hanging on for dear life.
And at number 24, clinging to the last life raft, the 1994 Penn State Nittany Lions with a 3-1 record.
Think about that. That 94 Penn State team is legendary. Kiana Carter, Kerry Collins, one of the most explosive offenses in college football history, and the fact that they are on the bubble at 24 shows you how deep this league is.
It's insane. But look at who is just OUT, the heartbreak zone. At number 25, the 2003 Miami of Ohio Redhawks.
Led by a young Ben Roethlisberger.
They are 5-1. They have 5 wins, same as Florida, same as Georgia, who are in the top 12. But they're stuck at 25.
It's the strength of schedule. It's the M-action penalty. The simulation punishes the Mid-American Conference.
Brutal.
The MSC just doesn't carry the same weight in the algorithm as the SEC or the Big Ten. Ben Roethlisberger is playing out of his mind. We'll get to his stats in a minute, but the math is punishing them for their conference. They are winning games, but the computer says they aren't winning hard games.
That feels so unjust. You have a future NFL Hall of Fame quarterback destroying defenses, but because he's playing Kent State and Buffalo, he's on the outside looking in.
It's the classic Cinderella problem. They need chaos above them to move up. They need teams like Oklahoma to keep losing.
Okay, who else is in the heartbreak zone? Number 26, 2001 Fresno State, 3-2 record. David Carr at quarterback.
A very dangerous team. They have what you'd call quality losses, which is why they're still ranked this high. They've played a brutal schedule, but they need wins and they need them fast. You can't make the playoffs at .500.
And then number 27, this is the one that really broke my brain. 1999 Florida State, 4-1. Wait, expert, help me here. A 4-1 FSU team with Peter Warrick and Chris Weinke is ranked 27th.
Right.
How are they behind a 3-loss team? How are they behind Fresno State?
It's the quality wins metric. It's the flip side of Fresno State's coin. FSU has beaten the teams in front of them, but they lack that signature high-ranking victory that 94 Penn State or Old Grid Oklahoma has on their resume. They're winning games, but the simulation views their resume as empty calories so far.
So they beat the teams they were supposed to beat.
Right, but they haven't beaten a Titan. They need a marquee win over another top 20 team to jump the line and prove they belong.
That is just brutal. So for you listening, if you're a fan of 03 Miami, Ohio, or 99 FSU, you are rooting for pure, unadulterated chaos above you. You need Oklahoma to lose again. You need Penn State to stumble.
Exactly. The one-loss danger is very real. Look at 08 Florida. They are comfortable at number 10 right now. But if they take a second loss, they could drop like a stone right into that 20-25 range.
Instantly.
And Oak Ridge, Oklahoma is the cautionary tale. At 4-2, they are hanging by a thread at 23. One more slip-up, and a blue blood is out of the playoffs.
This is what makes every single game matter. It's not just about winning the title. It's about survival, week to week. Now, let's get into the weeds with the numbers. Segment 5, the stats. I love this part because some of these individual performances are just absurd.
The narrative by numbers, as I like to call it.
Let's start with the quarterbacks. We mentioned him on the bubble. Ben Roethlisberger, 03 Miami of Ohio.
He is the engine keeping them alive. He's the only reason they're even in this conversation. In his last game against Kent State, he went 21 of 36 for 265 yards and 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns.
He is single-handedly carrying that team. Without him, they are a .500 squad, maybe. With him, they are knocking on the door of the top 24. He extends plays, he's hard to tackle, he is playing NFL football in a college simulation.
Then there's the gunslinger out in Hawaii. The late, great Colt Brennan, 2007.
Yes, from the run-and-shoot offense. Even in games where Hawaii loses or struggles, he puts up just video game numbers. He was listed as a week MVP in a previous log. Now, he throws interceptions because he takes a ton of risks. He threw 5 INTs in a game recently.
Wow, 5.
But the yardage is always there. He makes Hawaii a team nobody wants to play because you know he can score 40 points on anyone. It's high risk, high reward.
And let's throw it back a bit. A name maybe some listeners don't know. Jeff Van Rayforst, 86 Arizona State.
A classic pocket passer. In his last game against Oregon, 301 yards and 3 TDs. He just sliced that defense up. It's a good reminder that the 80s passing game wasn't primitive. It was just different. It was precise. He's not running around like Manziel. He's dissecting you surgically from the pocket.
Now, the Rushing Kings. We already talked about Kevin Smith's 341-yard explosion. But the MVP frontrunner has to be Tony Dorsett.
Oh, it's undeniable at this point. The 1976 Pitt running back. Look at these season totals through 7 games. 209 carries, 1,130 yards, 16 touchdowns.
1,100 yards in 7 games.
He is averaging over 160 yards a game. He is the entire offense. You compare him to the modern spread backs who get the ball in space, and Dorsett is just a true workhorse. He is facing 8-man fronts every single play. Everyone in the stadium knows he is getting the ball, and he is still breaking 45-yard runs.
He's the reason Pitt is 7-0.
The primary reason, yes.
That is just pure dominance. Is there anyone even close to him in production?
Well, Kevin Smith is trying. After that huge game, he's up to 1,017 yards on the season.
Okay, so he's over 1,000 too.
But he has 9 touchdowns compared to Dorsett's 16. Dorsett is finishing drives. He isn't just getting yards between the 20s. He's putting points on the board.
That's the difference maker. Let's look at the defensive side, or maybe special teams. I saw a name in the scoring leaders that confused me. Jake Casey from 08 Rice.
James Casey. This is a fascinating, versatile player, a football Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
He's listed in the scoring leaders not just because he catches touchdowns, but he was a do-it-all weapon. He lines up at tight end, H-back, wildcat QB. The simulation values that versatility. He played 7 different positions in real life for Rice, and the sim reflects that.
And we have to mention the interception machines again.
Yeah.
We laughed about Tebow's 4 INTs, but Colt Brennan threw 5.
Risk management is key to surviving in this league. Look at the teams in the top 10, Alabama, Miami, Nebraska. Their quarterbacks protect the football.
Right.
The teams on the bubble, Hawaii or Florida, in this last game are turning it over. That variance is why they are in danger. In a tournament setting like the playoffs, turnovers will absolutely kill you.
So what does this all mean? We've looked at the games, the paths, the stats. It's time for segment 6, predictions. Expert, put your reputation on the line here. Who is making the playoff field?
Okay, let's start with the locks. The teams I think are absolutely in, barring a historic collapse.
The sure things.
I think 0-1 Miami, 61 Alabama, 95 Nebraska, and 76 Pitt are in. They are just too consistent, too balanced, too dominant.
I have to agree. They look like the Final Four right now. They each have a very clear identity.
They do. But here is my danger pick. The team that scares me, that nobody's talking about.
Okay, I'm listening.
The 2004 USC Trojans.
Ah, the Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush team.
They are ranked number 18 right now. Their record is 4-1. They are lurking.
They are.
They have the talent, 2 Heisman winners in the backfield to climb quickly. If they win out, they are going to leapfrog a lot of these other teams like TCU or NC State. The Pac-10 is crowded, but USC has the highest ceiling of any team outside the top 10. If they get in, nobody wants to play them.
That's a great pick. What about a Cinderella? Who is the team that nobody expects but might sneak in through the back door?
I'm looking at that 73 NC State team we talked about.
The quiet contender.
They are 6-0. They're ranked #9. But here's the prediction. I actually think they might slide.
Oh, really? Even if they keep winning?
It's possible. Their strength of schedule isn't as high as the SEC or Big 12 teams. As the season tightens and everyone else plays ranked opponents, the simulation might penalize them for playing a weaker ACC schedule. However, being undefeated is a powerful shield.
So what's the path?
If they lose one game, I think they're out. They fall too far. But if they stay perfect, they force the committee's hand. They have to put them in.
And the Big 12 North. Who wins that brutal tiebreaker? Nebraska or Kansas State?
I predict 95 Nebraska holds on. That combined conference ranking tiebreaker is just too strong of an advantage for them. Nebraska blows teams out. Kansas State wins closer games. The math favors the Huskers.
So what happens to K-State?
I think Nebraska wins the division, knocking an undefeated Kansas State team into the at-large pool, which is a very, very dangerous place to be.
So why does all of this matter to you, the listener? Why should you care about a simulation of a 1961 team playing a 2007 team?
Because it proves something fundamental about the sport of football. We tend to think the game changes drastically. We think the modern athletes are vastly superior, faster, stronger.
Right.
But look at the standings. 61 Alabama, 76 Pitt, 95 Nebraska. The teams that play disciplined defense and run the ball effectively are winning consistently.
It's a lesson in consistency versus ceiling, isn't it?
Exactly. A team like 07 Hawaii or 07 Missouri has an explosive ceiling. They can score 50, but they can also lose to anyone on any given Saturday. Alabama 61 has a lower ceiling, offensively maybe, but their floor is incredibly high. They don't beat themselves.
Yeah, and in a league of legends, that balance often outweighs pure explosive offense.
It seems to so far.
And that top 24 cutoff creates a playoff atmosphere every single week. If you were ranked 20th, every single snap matters.
It does. It turns the entire regular season into a survival horror game for the teams on the bubble. One mistake and you're gone.
Before we go, I want to leave everyone listening with a final provocative thought, something to mull over this week. We see 76 Pitt at 7-0. We see 0-1 Miami at 5-0. If they meet in the playoffs, does the sheer volume of Pitt's rushing attack break Miami's speed?
That is the ultimate question. Miami is built on team speed, swarming to the ball, hitting hard, but Tony Dorsett running the ball 40 times a game, that wears a defense down physically. It's a different kind of punishment. By the fourth quarter, that speed might not be there anymore. It's the ultimate clash of philosophies.
And here's my what if. What if that 07 Missouri upset of Oklahoma is just the first domino to fall? If Oklahoma falls out of the top 24, that opens up a spot.
A precious spot.
Does a team like 03 Miami of Ohio sneak in? Does Ben Roethlisberger get a shot at the title all because Chase Daniel had the game of his life a few weeks earlier? The downstream effects are fascinating.
The chaos of the bubble is the real story to watch next week. One Titan falls, and a little guy steps up to take their place.
I absolutely love it. We will be tracking every stat, every upset, and every single tiebreaker right here. Check the show notes for the full top 40 list so you can find where your favorite team is sitting. Pick a horse in the race, because it's only going to get crazier from here.
See you next week.
For the Deep Dive, I'm signing off. See you next week for more Deep Dive.